Almost live from Dunkirk, New York. It's public access channel 12, and we're back with our Revitalize Dunkirk TV show. And today's a special day because it's National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. So I did. And we're here with a special guest today who we'll introduce in a second. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, El Presidente Jim Fisher. Jim, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And Jim, would you introduce our special guest this evening?
I sure will. It's Rebecca Yanis, the Director of Planning and Development with the City of Dunkirk. And Rebecca?
Thanks so much for having me today, Jim and Valerie.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. If I would have known it was National Pajama Day, I would have worn my pajamas too.
And be more comfortable.
Right. Thanks so much again for having me, and I'm really excited to give some updates on what's happening in the Planning and Development Department for the City of Dunkirk. Some really exciting, great things are happening, and I'm really excited about 2018 being kind of a year of implementation of a lot of things that we've been working on. So I'll give a brief update. Please feel free to interrupt me at any time.
Do you want to mention that Rebecca attended last month's meeting?
Oh, yes. She was our guest speaker last month at our regular Revitalize Dunkirk meeting that's at the Fredonia Technology Incubator on Central Avenue. And so she'll be going over
Highlight.
a lot of projects that the city is working on like that.
Thank you. So when I talk about planning and development, I like to start with the planning side of things because that really helps build a community. Your planning efforts help to get that funding to implement specific projects. So I like to talk about what we're working on in the planning side of things first. And specifically, we've been undertaking 4 different planning initiatives. The first one being our Brownfield Opportunity Area Plan. The second one being our comprehensive plan, the third one being a residential housing survey plan, and the fourth one being the local waterfront revitalization plan that we're working with the county on. So it's those 4 plans that really help grow the future of a city and a community and help dictate what you want to see happen in the future. So for the comprehensive plan, we're kind of in the kickoff of that. And what that plan does is it helps dictate a lot of future housing, transportation, infrastructure development, economic development, and community development. And what's so important about that is that you really need really good community input for those. We're going to be holding a lot of community workshops in the future, specifically June 26th and 27th. I would like everyone to save those dates because those are going to be our 2 kickoff community workshops. Those are going to involve multiple sites throughout the city where we hold these workshops. Good. And we're going to have different boards that people can give their input on. We're going to split it up into different wards that people can kind of look at different maps and say what they like about in this ward, what they think should be improved on in the ward. So it's really fun exercise to get the public's input, and we're working with LaBerge Group on that plan. So those are our consultants that'll help us collect all of that data and put it together in a formulated plan.
Good.
So that's the biggest one that kind of it's the whole entire City of Dunkirk emphasis. Now the Brownfield Opportunity Plan is more focused on brownfield sites or vacant abandoned sites in the city, and we obviously have a lot of those sites, so it's important that we find out plans on what we want to do with that. That study is complete and is with the Department of State to be reviewed. Once they review it and approve it, we'll be a BOA designated community, and what that means is that there's incentives for developers to come and develop on those vacant sites. So it's really driven to bring in new economic development into a community, and we have a lot of brownfield sites focused in the waterfront area, so it's kind of been like a mini economic development plan for our waterfront. So we're really excited about that and becoming a BOA designated community. on the other side of things, community development, residential and housing improvements are underway in a lot of different projects. So we wanted to see how the housing assessments and how the conditions of our housing stock are in the city of Dunkirk. So we did the residential housing survey in our community, and a lot of Revitalize Dunkirk people donated their time to help with that project, and a lot of different community people. And we were excited to just finish that process as well. And there's some really great recommendations in that, including looking at the Floramo plan again, which is looking at absentee landlords and how we can really work on that. Also, where we should invest in our specific housing stock in areas that really need that help in the community areas, the residential areas, and
Just a shout out on the Floramo plan. We at Revitalize Dunkirk are really the organization who brought that back to the forefront
yes,
a couple of years ago, because I know a lot of work went into that years ago when Mrs. Floramo was still alive. And so because of Revitalize Dunkirk, people are still talking about the Floramo plan, I'm happy to say.
yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like sort of the unofficial title for
Right.
all that is going on right now. I guess.
But
you could
it's
say, in a way.
basically about the absentee landlord
Yeah.
more than other kinds of landlord renters kind of situations too.
Yeah.
But the last I heard, the city attorney was still reviewing that and making recommendations about it.
Yep, we're reviewing different tools that different communities are using that are similar to the Floramo plan. There's pieces in that plan that we have to work out and work through, and a big part of it is jurisdiction and the law, working with trying to get that changed, because that's a big issue, going after some of those absentee landlords that live in different states and how we can prosecute them if they've been a poor landlord to these people. So,
Right.
so that's a big challenge that we're working through right now, and that's one of the many recommendations that's came out of the zombie property survey, is that we bring it back, we relook at that, and we create something that works for the city of Dunkirk. So we haven't forgot about it. I just want to let everyone know.
How many
we are
zombies
working.
are there in Dunkirk, New York?
Gosh, I want to say I need the plan. It's online. You're putting me on the spot.
Approximately.
Approximately.
Thousands and thousands.
Yeah, right.
Are wandering the streets at all times.
There's quite a bit. And if you go online, we have the plan online, and you can find out all the information.
I didn't mean
don't
to
wanna-
get you off track.
No, that's okay. I just don't want to be just misquoted on the wrong number. So I'll check after this too, because I'm curious now. But in regards to planning, I think the last one that I didn't mention is specifically the LWRP, which is the Waterfront Plan that we're working with the county on. We are one of 10 communities along Lake Erie and Chautauqua County that are a part of this plan. So it's really creating that vision for your waterfront in regards to projects, policies, different things that you want to see in your waterfront. So that's a really important plan.
The BOA, is that sort of working hand in hand with? Okay.
Yes, all these plans we want to make sure work hand in hand and say similar things, because when you go after the funding for the certain projects that you recommend, you can say this is within this plan, and this plan, and the state will look at that and say, wow, they've really done their homework, that the community really wants to see this happen, and you'll be more likely to get funding for your projects. So it's exciting and a lot going on in regards to the planning world in the city.
Whole, building blocks.
Yes,
the
exactly.
waterfront and housing and I forgot the third
Housing,
one.
the waterfront, comprehensive plan, the whole entire
that's right.
city. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of great stuff in regards to planning. And then after those plans are complete, you go after funding for the certain projects. So we'll be applying for what's called the CFAs, which is the state's grant applications that come out in June. So we pick a few specific projects that we want to focus on. We'll probably prioritize the list of projects, kind of see what fits best for the city and what the community and residents want to see, and then we'll go after funding through those grant applications. And specifically, last year we went after funding for the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. That was the $10 million grant funding that was available. Now, we didn't beat Olean last year, but we did get a good chunk through the Smart Growth Funds, which were a part of that DRI process. So we got the $2.5 million to do improvements to Central Avenue and to our pier. So those are two projects that I wanted to talk about today.
Good.
That are really exciting. Right now, it's broken up into the specific two projects. The Central Connections project is improvements from Central Ave and Lakeshore Drive all the way to the village of Fredonia, a bike path that will connect the two communities and the SUNY Fredonia, the college as well, and also includes wayfinding and signage, different landscaping improvements. We have 5 intersections in the city that we're going to be upgrading, and I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything.
Are planting of trees a part of that?
Yeah, scattered tree plants.
Good.
Yep.
Also, I believe the county is going to pave Central from
Yes.
Fillmore to Lakeshore Drive.
Yep, that's also a part of it as well. So we're really excited about that project, and that one will be kicking off this summer. So, and will be done by the end of fall. So you'll be seeing that project happening this year,
Good.
which is really exciting. The Pier Improvements project is a little more in depth, and we really want to do it right. So we're going through an intense design phase right now. Our consultants are working on some really great schematic designs. We've been holding a lot of internal city workshops, and we're almost ready to go out to the public and start to get the public's input on what they want to see at the pier. Really, the vision has been creating a pedestrian-friendly environment, but also taking into account that a lot of fishermen use the site, that
They
people
sure do.
really,
Yeah.
everyone enjoys the pier. So
They do.
we want to make sure that it's something that's done right and that really emphasizes the city of Dunkirk and its residents.
Yeah, I think it would be neat to see something other than like a parking lot, because
Right.
you know, it's a excellent point. Everybody goes down there, you know, maybe more benches or
A
something.
lot of people just go with their lunch
Yeah.
Yeah.
to eat lunch down there, or to pull up and watch the sunset.
Definitely.
A lot of people from Fredonia actually go to the pier
Mhm.
and watch the sunset.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot, and one of the biggest, best assets the city has. So we're excited. And really, you know, our focus has been on waterfront a lot, but we're not forgetting our Central Avenue area, the Central Business District, because we want to start to create and bring that back as well. So the idea is to, you know, focus on improving our assets along the waterfront, but also building off of that as well. So we aren't forgetting about that, and trying to activate and bring new businesses along that stretch.
And there's also, the city received or is getting a $50,000 grant for Lakeshore and Central Avenue.
The intersection of that'll be one of our intersection improvements. So right now our consultants are working on some design plans for that. That intersection, as you probably both know, is very unsafe to cross, and we want to make it more of a pedestrian-friendly environment. So we need to do something about that intersection. And
Jim wants to be the live traffic controller.
Yeah.
He wants a
Sure, why not, Jim?
uniform.
Do on a summer night, like on a
flags.
Thursday night.
He wants to, you know, really liven
I'd
things
like
up
to-
at that corner. Right. See if anyone pays attention.
why not? Why not? No, but they're going to be great projects
I'll just work on my
altogether.
technique all summer.
Yeah, so those are the exciting projects that we're working on. In addition to talking about waterfront assets, we have our parks, which we're doing a lot of improvements on, Point Gratiot Park and Wright Park, and soon to be Dog Park as well. So we're doing a lot there.
Now, can you remind us where the dog park is located?
Yeah, it's going to be on Main Street Extension. I'm just trying to think of what the address is.
So you're going up Main,
Yep.
like you're headed towards the DNF Plaza or
Yes.
Vineyard Drive. And
Ju-
it's on the left-hand side.
it's going to be on the right-hand side,
Oh, on the
actually.
right-hand side.
Yeah,
If you're
like-
passing like Fieldbrook Foods, and it's just a little further around the
Okay.
bend, you'll see there used to be like a circuit shop. It's like a
Right
little yellow
Somewhat
building.
across from the
Okay.
Armory National.
Yes, not too far from
Across the
Armory.
street.
Right.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. That land that the circuit shop owns, they donated that land to the city, and we're going to be working on clearing that up and putting in signage, putting in a gravel parking lot, and getting that
Poop-
ready this
poop
spring.
bags
Yep,
and-
we have those benches.
It's
Now,
important.
It is.
Can you give us some background on how the dog park came about? You know, as far as-
Yeah, you know, when I first came on, I had a lot of people coming to me. Monica Kemp has really been a big,
Well, she
strong
made a
supporter.
presentation at Revitalize Dunkirk
Yeah.
about the dog park. So we talked about it quite a bit at Revitalize Dunkirk like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And then she took it on as a project,
Mm-hmm.
and she spoke in front of Revitalize Dunkirk, and I think she gendered some support that way.
Yep, and then Purina came in with their grant to the city, and then we've collected a lot of donations. We're still collecting them if anyone wants to donate to the dog park, but we're really appreciative of everyone donating, and now we can make it a reality, so it's really exciting.
Because at first the dog park was going to be over on Point Drive North or whatever, and then all of a sudden, oh, we can't have it here.
It was tough to find the right location, you know, there's a lot of people that didn't want it in their backyard, and,
Right.
you know, we wanted to make it something that everyone could agree on, so this is where council agreed on, so we were happy to come to a
There'll be a little mini section with a sign that reads, "Rabid dogs only."
Or just split them up. You know, beagles
right.
over here.
Oh, we're going to put
we
the
do have a-
chihuahuas with the pit bulls over on this side.
We will have a small dog section and a large dog section.
Cool.
There's that.
That's
There is
great.
that two-sided, and you know those are the amenities that people are looking for these days. So that's why I really went for it, and believed in Monica's vision too, that we do need those amenities in our city to
The
attract people.
Speaking of the parks, the bathrooms are being improved.
Yep.
And then can you tell us at Wright Park what is a splash pad?
Yeah, so this one is really cool. It's interactive. It's going to be a round concrete surface with different fixtures that come up. And what's really unique about this one is that it's going to be kind of a nautical theme. And then it's split up into 4 quarters in the circle, and that's for different age groups. So you have your infant area that's not too intensive, like splash features, and your teenage area, which is a little more fun. You can turn the splash feature to shoot someone with it, spray someone with it, and then you're like you're in between age
The
for
fire
the
hoses.
kids.
And
Now,
yeah,
where's
fun
the
stuff.
80-year-old segment for the crotchety old people?
You can go with the infants. There you go. It'll
Okay.
be a little laid back.
right.
But then that's the whole part of kind of the activity area that we're calling at Wright Park. So you have your splash pad, and then you have your futsal courts, which is kind of the smaller.
What is that?
Like a smaller soccer field, and it's on.
Futsal?
Yeah. It's
I've never
really
heard of that expression.
Is
new
it
and getting big with the
Okay.
kids. They
Futsal.
Yeah, and they're doing it at the fairgrounds at the in the fairground area where they have camp and recreation.
Is it a grass or is it?
No, it's actually a hard
Sand?
hard surface. So it's quicker game. And then next to
Futsal.
that will be 2 permanent pickleball courts. What we also did is we lined the futsal courts with 2 additional pickleball courts so that we could have tournaments. Because usually you need 4 courts for tournaments. So tried to make it kind of an activity center for everyone, for all age groups. So we're really excited
Is
about
there a
that.
bathroom in that area?
Yes, that one's getting redone as well.
Okay.
The pavilion in front of where everything's going to take place, that's being regutted, ADA compliant,
Great.
all updated as
Great.
well. So we're really excited about that.
And at Point Gratiot,
Mhm.
I know the bathroom's going to be done.
Yep.
The larger pavilion is going to be revitalized.
Yeah, so the large pavilion, the bathroom's completely redone, ADA compliant again. They have the kitchen area has been kind of totally gutted and basically just fresh redone, so that eventually we could actually rent it out if someone wanted to do like a little snack shack there, something like that. We did a whole new roof on that pavilion. All of the pavilions are getting new roofs actually. And then at the point, the little bathroom is completely gutted and redone as well. And we also did a outdoor shower where you could wash your feet after.
Where? Where is that?
At that little
At the small one?
Yes, yeah. So
Good.
coming off the beach if you wanted to
My
rinse
dog
your
will
feet.
enjoy that.
There you go. Yeah.
A nice refreshing splash.
Well, there are water spigots at the point, and our routine is, when in the summer when I take her for a walk, not on the beach, but on the trails, I turn the water on and she drinks from the water spigots, that are there for everybody.
Huh?
She has fun.
Yeah, why not? That's great. Other than that, if you have any questions and want me to update you on anything else, we have, I'm trying to think of some development
What about,
projects.
is there going to be a cleanup this weekend, or
We
there
are-
was going to be one, or what?
We are going to hold one. We haven't had the date set yet, so
Okay.
we will announce that
Because it was
date.
going to be around Earth Day.
Around Earth Day is what we're still thinking.
Because that
but
was a really great event last year.
It
A lot of
was.
people turned out.
yes.
The weather was horrendous, sort of like now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
spring
is April,
coming,
but
right?
it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And it was cold and rainy. It was horrible. And a lot of people turned out, and it was a nice event.
It was. Yes, we'll be holding another one. I think the beginning of May is what we're going to push for. So.
And I was cleaning up around Washington Park, and there was a guy on Park Avenue working on his car, and changing carburetor or something. And I'm picking up trash, and he says, "Are you cleaning up around here?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Can you take this?" His mechanical. I said, "Okay, put it in." So I took it. How convenient that
Yeah,
I was
right.
just around at the right time.
That's great.
Trying to think of. Well, my question was sort of about the new game out there at Wright Park. It's like I never heard of it, and so I guess we're going to be doing some homework tonight, looking up all
Yeah.
the rules and regulations on
And
what was
some
it called?
futsal.
Futsal.
FOOTSALL.
FUTSOL. Futsal.
Oh, FUTSOL.
Yep.
So foot like Spanish foot,
Yep.
and sol, sun, Spanish sun.
That's correct. I believe so. Yeah.
Sun foot, foot
Well-
sun. Futsal. I've never heard of it.
Wow.
Fun.
Trying to think of anything else that would be project.
What kinds of questions did we have? Questions for Rebecca at the Revitalize Dunkirk meeting that came up?
I'm trying to
I
remember.
can't remember.
Well, you brought along the gentleman from the CCCH.
Oh, yes.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, and his walking or his sidewalk. You want to know where some sidewalks in Dunkirk were bad, or what we thought, or whatever. But
Right, right. They're doing a little bit of a sidewalk inventory and looking at where we could possibly make those sidewalks better in our community. And I know that our CDBG funding for 2019, we're looking at doing some spot improvements throughout the city with that. So that will be really helpful for us to determine areas that will need.
What about major building projects in the city besides Athenex,
Right,
which
right.
I think most people know?
Mhm.
There was some talk about a hotel being built.
Yes, yes.
Where does that whole thing stand?
So we recently that will be announced shortly. Actually, we've been going through a lot of negotiation with some developers, Erie Land Development, and I would like to let the mayor announce it, but
Sure.
we are shortly we're making the right progress for that. Their vision is not only just a hotel, but to create kind of a winery brewery kind of type atmosphere as well on the property, to really take advantage of our great wineries in the area, to create some tourism, some wine tasting, some local brewery tasting. So they have a really great vision. I think they are doing a nice job on some of that visioning and the idea. So we're excited to possibly have them.
In terms of our waterfront development in Dunkirk, I saw in the Observer about a week ago, someone spoke in front of the Dunkirk Common Council about renting kayaks, et cetera, is there any movement that's going to happen this year? Or is that something that we shouldn't be talking about? Or is that something that's part of the development plan at all?
No, that's definitely a possibility. What the individual wanted to do is do kind of a kayak and paddle boats that would be down towards Wright Park, kind of renting them out next to the Wright Park beach.
Right.
So we're exploring that. Our attorney's kind of looking into that further. It might be a possibility for this summer. So we thought it would be a really
maybe
great
next year
addition.
paddle boat races from Wright Park to the point. Whoever gets there first gets to throw.
There you go.
You mean the ones you do with your feet? That kind of paddle boat thing? That'd be great. When you get to the end of the race, the chiropractors and the orthopedic surgeons are at the ready.
Get them out of the paddle boat.
People are in traction for weeks afterwards.
But, also, you mentioned CDBG.
Yeah.
Isn't there a meeting tonight?
There is,
'Cause
yeah,
it was
yeah.
rescheduled from last
And
week.
can you explain what CDBG stands for?
Yeah, it's Community Development Block Group is what it specifically stands for, and it's funded through HUD, through our Housing and Urban Development federal department, and specifically it looks at improving your community, your lower income population. It really looks at benefiting, and also some blighted structures you can use CDBG for to improve your community, and also helping to administer programs such as Boys and Girls Club for children, after school activities, different programs like that. So Matt Burke's doing a really great job with that.
And this meeting tonight is sort of like a public input meeting, like to try to figure out where to point for the grants and the
And tonight means we're taping this on April the 16th.
yeah, so
There you go.
run over to City Hall right now.
Yeah, it'll be giving input on the consolidated plan for CDBG. So yeah.
Recently, the mayor made an announcement about a development that's going to be happening, or revitalization, on Route 60. Do I have that right?
Well, it's
Or off of 6, when you come into the city?
it's through Stell, right?
Route 5? Oh, yes,
Main
the
Street?
Stell's project.
Okay, can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, I believe it's 48 scattered sites. No, that's wrong. It's 48 units, 25 scattered sites. I'm sorry. And what it's looking at is housing developments for Stell's, specifically prioritized for Stell's clients. And then a certain percentage will go towards Stell's clients. And then the other percentage is available for really anyone for renting.
But this is new construction, correct?
Yes. So half of it will be new and half of it will be remodeling existing. So I want to say 25 sites, probably 15 of those 25 are going to be
And
new
probably
builds.
the biggest component would be where the
Old school.
Old school
Yep.
3 was that
Yeah,
they're going to build.
That will be
I
one of
think
the
it's like
biggest ones.
townhouses or something.
Yep, their townhouse kind of look to it, and they're very nice. Estelle has pictures if you'd like to go see them. But that will be a great project to really start to revamp Main Street, and we're really excited about that. Also, in regards to housing, market rates, apartments will be going in on Route 5, kind of kitty quarter from where Athenix is. So that's a big project. It's the villas at Battery Point.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's a phased project
Yeah.
because townhomes or apartments and then later on other development?
Yeah, the idea is to do kind of 3 phases. They want apartment complexes towards the front, kind of a townhome feel towards the middle of the property, and then up towards the lake is resident, like single family is the goal. So working on phase 1 right now with the developers, and we're really excited for that.
There's a piece of city property near Battery Point.
Yes,
It's Battery Point or Battery Park area. And Revitalize Dunkirk is very interested in that piece of property because it's just a gorgeous piece of property in terms of the overlook over the lake. Is there any plan by the city at all to look at that piece, not to sell it to private developers,
Right.
but to develop it into a park or bike trails or picnic tables or something?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. It definitely is a specific piece that I think really should be emphasized in our comprehensive plan on what the residents would like to see there. Last year we went for a grant to do kind of a trail connector project because you have Wright Park there and then the waterfront obviously right there with the new development coming there and a Phoenix right up the road.
Right.
It'd be a great connector if you could do kind of a trail from Wright Park through that area and up towards the new neighborhoods and eventually connect to
Right.
Phoenix. Because one of the main things that Phoenix has told us is that they want their employees to be able to have access to the waterfront
Sure.
by bike, by walking, and that would be
Right.
a great connector project. So yes, that's something that we are
But
looking into.
development for the entire population, not
Right.
just
Right, yes. I
a
don't
Phoenix
mean that.
employees.
Right, it'd be a
Right.
trail system for
Right.
everyone to use.
Because Revitalize Dunkirk, few hardy souls, traipsed out there a few times and did a self-tour. And we were struck by what an amazing parcel that is. I don't know if you've had a
it
chance
really
to go out
is.
there.
I have ventured
And
out there.
and
yeah.
when you look out over the cliffs, it's just magnificent. And there's one angle that you can see the lighthouse and the sunset, and you don't see the old Niagara Mohawk plant.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's some beautiful views. And I just don't, just personal opinion, don't want to see that go to a private developer to build expensive homes. I want to see Dunkirk people being able to use that
Yeah, I think
property.
it'd be a fine extension to like Wright Park and like
That's right.
Yeah.
like just a nice trail.
Great
through there,
for
like a loop.
recreation for new people coming into the area because of Phoenix and other industries. So
Definitely, I
it'd be
agree.
great.
I agree.
Anything else? I know Rebecca did a great presentation at Revitalize Dunkirk, and she had a PowerPoint presentation and overheads, etc. Is there anything you can remember, Jim, from that we talked about?
Not offhand.
I think she covered a lot of ground.
Yeah,
and-
I think she did an excellent job, and
And we really are so
touching on-
appreciative of the fact that Rebecca Yanis not only came to Revitalize Dunkirk, but she's come to our Access Channel 12 program too.
And
Of
she's the official
course.
second guest ever.
The
Wow,
official
really?
second guest, that's right. So we're very
great.
pleased to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. I enjoyed coming out today.
And please encourage the people who work with you to come to as many Revitalize Dunkirk meetings as they can also.
Okay.
And we might just get him on the show. Matt Burke was with us last month on this show. I think it was last month, right?
Yes, last month.
And so, encourage everybody, get to Revitalize, and they might get on the Access 12 show.
And again,
We
Rebecca,
will.
what were those dates for the comprehensive plan?
So the comprehensive plan, we're planning on June 26th and 27th.
Okay.
And there'll be scattered sites. We want to do a lot of churches, a lot of clubs.
Okay.
So we'll be announcing those shortly. And then in May, we'll probably be holding a public meeting for the Pier Improvements. So we want people to come out and give their input on that. And we're planning on possibly doing that at the high school. So,
Okay. So
that
those
will
will
be
be
soon.
listed in the Dunkirk
yes,
Observer.
Definitely.
And are they also on the city website?
We're going to add those to the city website. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well,
So
thank you
everybody-
very much,
Great,
Rebecca.
Thank you.
Everybody get out there and, look into what's happening in Dunkirk, because there's a lot of good things that are going to happen here in Dunkirk, I believe.
Thank you for all your hard work and
Thank
efforts.
you so much. Appreciate that.
We'll see you again, Rebecca.
Thanks.
We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Bubbles and Edna Show, otherwise known as Revitalize Dunkirk. Jim, would you tell us about this week's meeting, please?
Well, Edna.
This week we're going to have our monthly meeting at the Fredonia Technology Incubator at 214 Central Avenue. And our guest speaker this month is going to be a spokesman from HOPE, or Hispanics Organized for Progress and Education. So that should be interesting. It's a little bit different than our usual guest speakers, and they'll be explaining, about their group and their mission.
Great. That's an organization that's very vital in the community and one that we haven't heard a lot of. So I hope a lot of people from the public will turn out for that. We're going to be back and taping another show in May. We don't have a date yet, but sometime in May. And I'm also aware that we are not being shown twice a day now. We're being shown at 9 p.m. Is
Yes.
that correct, production staff?
That is correct.
Thank you, Gabriel. And we have a phenomenal production staff here tonight. We not
Absolutely.
only have Gabriel, but we have Donovan and Delaney also. And then there's a huge studio audience here tonight.
Absolutely.
And we're so appreciative of the support. Yay. So I think, unless you have more information, Jim, about the meeting on Thursday, April the 19th, is
At
the
6:30
regular monthly meeting
Mhm.
of Revitalize Dunkirk.
At 6:30 p.m. In the main conference room at the Fredonia Technology Incubator.
Great. Is there anything else coming up in the next couple of months that we should know about?
Not that I can think of offhand. I think we're pretty well set. Just
Okay.
uh,
Hopefully we'll have also a community cleanup involvement, and we
right.
dovetail with the city when we can do things with the city. And so we'll probably make some announcements to that effect on Thursday, I would guess.
Right.
And not to forget our Bocce Bocce Baby in the beginning of
Absolutely.
June.
There's nothing like bocce bocce, baby.
That's right. So I guess that's it for this evening. It was terrific to have Rebecca Yanis
Oh,
here. And it's always great when we can have a special guest on the program to talk about what's happening in the city. And it's mostly good. There's also bad and the ugly, but mostly the good, and that's what we like to emphasize.
And just as a reminder, you can always catch us on Facebook just by putting in Revitalize Dunkirk in the search, and we'll come up, or our website, revitalizedunkirk.com.
That's right. And we're also, this program is also viewable on YouTube.
Yep.
So if you have friends and relatives that you'd like them to catch Revitalize Dunkirk, have them check in. If they're out of the area, have them check in via YouTube. So that's it for tonight. We look forward to seeing you next month, and keep smiling.